Sanibonani Dumelang, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Her Story here on Fut-Afrique channel. My name is Jessica Mushawatu, known to you as Aunty Diski, and today we are going to be profiling another queen that is making moves in women's football. This is the place where we tell the untold stories of women in football. We get to highlight, celebrate them, and profile them for your own information. I am joined by the amazing Asa Rabalao from Mamelodi Sundowns. Hello, Asa.
Hi, how are you?
Finally, we have the big guns today. Today.
Yeah.
So glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
I always mention this, I have a relationship with a lot of athletes and players, off screens, and I know who you are, but this is a show where we want to profile you. We want people to get to know who you are. And I just want, before Toma, Asa Kemang, and where is Asa from?
Okay, my name is Asa Rabalao. I grew up at Alex, born and bred in Limpopo Seshego. So I started playing football when I was 7 years old, and my parents decided to relocate and come to Joburg. So I started playing for Bluebirds. It was a boys team back then.
Yeah.
So I was playing with the boys on the streets. Then I had to start playing for League LFA. Yeah. So the football started at Alexandra at the age of 10. And now here I am playing for a big team in South Africa, actually in the whole world.
Halala. You are actually right, and we know, the guys are going to that big tournament, and we obviously Club World Cup, and we are obviously rooting. Women's football also gets there, and something that we do before we dive into the serious parts about the show, we're gonna do like a quick quiz. A few. The first answer that comes to your mind, is that okay?
Okay.
All right, cool. In your own understanding, who is a prayer warrior when it comes to women's football? Player you've played with before?
It's Regina Mkhulula.
Prayer warrior.
Whoever it's her.
Most consistent player in the league?
Queen Rabali.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most fastest player in the league?
I can point one in our team, which is Ramalepe.
She's on that wing.
Yeah,
she's flying.
Yeah.
She's explosive.
Yeah.
Mosquito. And the last one, the spirit animal, the one that's always loud, cheering,
Andile Dlamini.
Ne?
Yeah.
Plus, she's a singer as well.
Yes.
So you will hear her. How about La
Everywhere, even if you are outside on the stands, you'll
hear her.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so let's talk about where everything started. And did the dream about playing football start there, or maybe how to move to Gomora? That's when you're like exposed. Because we know back at home, especially in Limpopo, in the villages, there's not a lot of exposure when it comes to football, especially women football or girls playing football. When did the dream actually start?
My dream started when I arrived in Gauteng. I was in grade 6. So I started playing with the boys at school. So the teachers discovered me and said, you need to start playing. Let's form a ladies team in the school. So I also joined Bluebirds. It was a boys team. By then, we only had 3 girls in the team. So the coach was also a student. He was doing grade 10 at East Bank High?
East Bank High, yes.
So we started playing football with the boys. Then the love, that's when it started. Then we were looking up to Abu Andisiwe, Mazet. Those were the players we knew when we were young. So that's when I saw the football is there. So if I grow up and do what I do, then I can get where they are.
Love it. And when we fast forward, is there any other team you've played for besides Bluebirds in between your move to Sundowns?
Yeah, I played for a lot of teams. I played for Alexandra Ladies.
Okay.
Then I went to Varsity NW Val. I played for NW Val. Then I came back to play for Super Falcons before I went to Sundown.
You play as a goalkeeper. Is there any other position you've played before? Or everybody who saw you, they're like, this height, we can definitely use it between the goalposts. But is there any other position you've explored, you've tried? We know a lot of people are versatile players, but we know how good you are at the poles. But is there any other position you played before?
When I started playing football, I was a midfielder.
Okay.
Then in Bluebirds, because we had a boys team only, then they started forming a women's team. then we never had a goalkeeper by then. The goalkeeper that we had decided not to come to the game on the day. So I was very short.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was very short.
Somebody would think you grew up with this height.
No, I was very short. So what happened is the coach asked who's going to be our goalkeeper because we have a game to play and the goalkeeper is not there. Then when we're looking at each other, no one wants to play. I was like, no, for today I can take it because of the goalkeeper is not there. Then I went to the pose. I did well. Then the coach was like, you're no longer going inside, so you're going to be with us on the pose.
And that was it.
Then that was it.
That's amazing. And look how great you're doing in that position, something that you had not planned to do. And tell me, Asa, is it a difficult position to be in? And I'm asking because, you know, when most celebrations come, I feel like goalkeepers are very underrated. You know, people will celebrate, you know, goals, you know, and assisters and all of that, but you don't really see so much highlights on the goalkeepers. And I think you carry a lot on your shoulder. You're the last man standing and you have to basically protect the scoreline. Do you believe that it is an underrated position to be in and quite a difficult one?
It's a very difficult one because there's a say that you can make 100 saves, but one mistake, everyone will remember that one mistake. So as a goalkeeper, it's been difficult, especially because of it's just one position. If you're an infield player, if you're playing a defender, you can play right back, you can play left back, center back. But as a goalkeeper, it's just there, one position. And you'll find out that you are 5 of you competing for that one position. So that's why it's so difficult. But with us, we've learned that because of most of the time, it's more like we are forgotten. Then how about we hype ourselves up, be there for one another so that we can grow, so that they can recognize each and every one of us in the pose.
Why do you think that there is a lack of, you know, goalkeepers in the international space from an African perspective? We always see players coming in and out, you know, traveling, but it's quite a little bit of a difficult one when it's goalkeepers having to go abroad. Is it because there's just too many goalkeepers out there, or is it because it's just a position that's you just need perfection and it's hard, you know, to tap into that space, especially in the European market?
I feel like lack of development because in Africa, we hardly see the goalkeeper clinics, only few. Maybe you can go to Cape Town, only one person is initiating that. You come to Joburg, no one is doing that. So if we have more of development, I think we can produce more of goalkeepers because if you can also see in the national team, sometimes we struggle. If Andile and Kellen are not there, then they put us, everyone. If I'm not there, the other one is not there, then you could see we're lacking like competition there. So I think if we have more of development in the goalkeeping department, then a lot can change. We can have a lot of goalkeepers traveling overseas and making their names.
Right, and we do want to definitely see that. Let's move to Sundowns, right? Just tell us the transition from moving from a team like, you know, your Super Falcons, your Bluebirds and all of that, moving to a team like Mamelodi Sundowns, which we know there's a lot of competition. You know, the structure is completely different from any other team. You're always kept on your toes and you know that you must always perform. Talk about that transition and the growth that you as a player has basically, you know, gotten from a club like Mamelodi Sundowns.
Honestly speaking, first and foremost, I would like to thank Coach Jerry Tshabalala because he made it happen. I remember I got injured in the national team back in 2015 when I was in varsity. Then I was out for almost 2 years, 2016, 2017, I was not in action because of the injury. Then 2018, that's when Vivo called me to say, no, they want you to come and help us because of the team was lacking a bit before they sell it. Then Coach Jero was like, I've been looking for you for past 2 years and you didn't want to come and play for the team. But then now I'm no longer taking a no for an answer. So I'm thinking about the injury. Sundowns is a big team, the competition with Abu Andile. And I was like, Coach, I'm not going to be able to because I'm still struggling with the injury. He was like, we never spoke about the injury. We spoke about the possibilities of you making it in the team because we really need players like you in the team. Then I thought about it January, then I started going to training. Then I felt like, no, what we see outside is different from what you see inside. So I started getting used to everyone in the team, gelling well, then getting the treatments and all those things. Then I came out very good and I was happy to be one of the players that went and win the first CAF Champions League in the team.
Asa, we've seen your progress, you know, from a young age all the way to your senior years and all of that. And you have made an appearance, you know, with the call-ups for the national team. Talk to me about how does it feel as a player, firstly, to get that national call-up? And how does it feel to not get it when you have really done so much, putting on the field? Because I think this is, especially for the young ones, this is like their benchmark. They are trying to work as hard as they can to go and represent their country on a national team level. Between those two, getting called up and not getting called up, how do you take that as a player?
The first time I got called up, it was back in 2015. There was Abo, Andile, and Kellen. That's when I started knowing them personally.
Yeah.
So it's scary at first because I was the youngest player there, the youngest goalkeeper. The goalkeeper coach is Francis Chansa. You know, you don't know anyone there. You only know few, but you don't know anyone there. But I just had to tell myself that if this is the place I'm going to be for coming years, then it means I need to really work hard for what I want.
Yeah.
So being there, it's nice, but when you start not getting call-ups, then it's whereby you sit back and ask yourself question, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? What must I improve? What must I do? But most of the time, as players, we don't ask those questions. That's why we end up retiring early because we're thinking maybe I'm not good enough, not knowing that, no, you just did one mistake. There's 1, 2 that you need to fix. But if you don't fix, you just say, no, I'm not good enough and sit back, then that's when the career ends. But with me, I never said, I'm not good enough. I just told myself the competition is getting tighter, so I need to work extra hard.
So you mentioned something about, you know, football ending. We know that football is a short-term career. You might get injured, you're not selected for the team, you know, demotivating. There's a lot of reasons. Let's talk about the financial parts, because this is a conversation that a lot of players or athletes don't really engage in, but it's very important. Financial education, financial literacy is a very important education in order for players to start, you know, putting the budgets, the necessary measures for what's going to happen after the football career. You know, what are you going to fall back on? Why and how do you think this is very important for athletes to practice good budgets and good financial, you know, plans in place for them for the future?
I think financial education is more important. Not only going to school and study and get the certificate is education. Education is just going around asking questions, what you can do, what is it that you're not supposed to do. With me, I'm a family person, so the moment I get the money, the first thing I think of is family. So when I think of family, I know in my family we are those people with business, but we are not privileged enough to get the money to fund the business that we want. But we started somewhere. We also having a business at home. Where I stay, there's smaller business that I'm pushing. That money is the one that is helping us to be able to get more from what we can do after my career. So what I told myself is, okay, business is there, it's in the family. Then what about myself, self-education? Then that's when I started joining the under-17 team in Mamelodi Sundowns and start learning how to coach, being an assistant coach. Then from there, I'm gonna take it and get the certificates, knowing that if football career is ending, then I have something to fall on.
Oh, I like that, because that is very, very important. The financial literacy and education, just to have a backup, you know, if things don't go our way. Let's talk about what is next, what is in the pipeline. We know that you're a person who loves to give back, you know, when it comes to community work and all of that. But what are some of the involvements that you want to participate in when it comes to just growing your brand as Asa Rabalao in terms of community upliftment and the work that you want to give back to the young kids?
Actually, I've been speaking to a few people where I grew up in Alexandra, the only place that I've always wanted to give back to. So at first, that there's initiations and other things that I'm trying to come across with, but the most foremost is football development for the young ones. Because us, we never got a chance to get that development. We just had to grow watching people playing football. No one has taught us about football. We just taught ourselves on the streets. So just giving that education about football so that they know, even if you're playing for Mamelodi Sundowns, you still need to go to school. You still need to have a backup. I'm turning 29 this year, but when I look back, there are certain things that I could have done better. But because of now I know better, I can teach the young ones so that they can be able to do better when they choose any sports that they want, because of sport is a short career.
Ooh,
yeah, that's.
I love it. And the next time we have you here, we're going to be talking about your event that I personally know that you're planning, and it's going to be in Alex. I think next time when we have you back, we're going to be talking about what happened and when are we planning the next one. You are in an industry where there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of hiccups for women in football, whether it's finances, whether it's support, whether it's broadcasting and all of that. What, in your own opinion, do you think is needed, in this women in football space for us to elevate the game and also just to obtain the respect that a lot of athletes actually deserve and moving forward, not just in South Africa, but, across Africa?
I think if people start going closer to women's football and start knowing and understanding what women's football is at first, then we'll see better, because now everyone is focusing on making money instead of developing people so that they can be able to make money. Yeah. So if I am a player, I know better in football. So if you come and approach me and tell me, okay, I have 50 rand, I want to do 1, 2, 3, do you think it's going to work? Then because of I know it's going to work, we need that money as female footballers. Then it's going to work because of you went there and found the information. And now, as we see, we are struggling as women players because the finances, whether you are a sponsor, the league, players, like most of the players, they work 9 to 5 after they have to go and play football because of it's the passion and the love. Yes. So if they see that, they're going to be able to develop. Women's football is developing very well in South Africa. We can see we won WAFCON. Yeah. We still want to defend our trophy. But for us to do that, if those people who are trying to come and sponsor us come to us, ask questions, find a way to sponsor the players, find a way to sponsor the teams that are struggling, then you're going to see that women's football is equal to men's football because we are the same, we are people. It might not be the same as we playing, but it's the same sport. Yeah. If we can do it, then it means you can help us to improve.
I love that so much, and I cannot wait for you to come back and tell us about your journey in coaching, especially in the development spaces, and a lot more. I know that there's so much more that we need to find out about you, so I can't wait to have you back. So that was a beautiful conversation that I had with Asa. What is your nickname, by the way? I didn't ask you that.
I never had a nickname.
You've never had a nickname?
There's this one name that I was given by Coach Jerry Tshabalala. He always called me Mkulu, so now it's a big name at Sundowns.
Well, there you have it, Bakhayesu. Asa, aka Mkulu, with a beautiful chat about her life, her career, and things that she sees need change in women's football. Thank you so much for watching. Please do continue to engage with us on all our social media platforms. Do tell us who you want to see as a guest in the next episode of Her Story here on Fut-Afrique channel. My name is Jessica Mushabatu, also known as Aunty Diski, and it is a wrap.